Hello, you are watching Reddit Guy channel, where hidden and unknown non-fiction stories are revealed from Reddit. Let's get into today's story. Story 1. Am I the asshole for not letting my mother into my hotel room? My mom and her boyfriend told me I could come on vacation with them if I would watch the kids at night while they went out. During the day, I would be free under this arrangement. I knew they were lying, or at least lying to themselves, but I agreed anyway. I ended up watching all the kids the entire time, but it was still really fun overall. I had never been skiing before, and that part was actually great. While we were there, my mom and her boyfriend got into a huge argument. They had booked their own room and a separate room for me with all the kids in it, so we were all staying in my room, which was right next to theirs but not adjoining. At some point, my mom started banging on my door and yelling at me to let her in. Her boyfriend came out into the hallway and started arguing with her. I didn't open the door. I didn't want either of them coming in, and I knew that if I opened it, both of them would end up inside. The police showed up. At one point, they knocked on my door and asked if my mom was my mother. I said yes. They then asked if I would let her into my room so they could keep her and her boyfriend separated. I asked if I had to, and they said no, because her name was not on the room. I told them I didn't want her in my room because I knew she would act crazy all night. What ended up happening after I closed the door was that her boyfriend got arrested and she got to stay in their room alone. My mom is blaming me completely for this. She says that if I had let her into my room, they both would have calmed down and nothing would have happened. She doesn't realize what she is like when she is drunk. She tried to cancel the reservation for my room, but she's having trouble because the hotel will not let her book a new room or keep the kids without a legal adult present. Right now, I'm trying to figure out how to change my plane ticket. I guess I'm just wondering if I was being an asshole. Should I have just let her in? I know a lot of problems came from not letting her into the room. I also know she paid for the room, which is the main reason she's angry, but she was acting completely out of control. Comments. Commenter 1. You're doing a great job and are much more mature than your mother. I'm sorry that this is your life. Commenter 2. That's the thing I feel most bad about. A drunk and irresponsible mom is a terrible life to have. Commenter 3. Not the asshole. You smelled trouble coming a mile away. How many kids are you watching? What are their ages? And how old are you? Reply from the original poster. 3 kids. They are 7, 10, and 12 years old. I'm 18. Here is what I think. This story is honestly upsetting because an 18-year-old was forced into the role of the most responsible adult in the situation. Protecting 3 children from 2 drunk adults is not being disrespectful, it's being smart and cautious. If even the police said the door didn't need to be opened, then blaming the OP afterward is just misplaced guilt and denial.
Story 2. Am I the asshole for correcting people when they give me their condolences? So, my mom's sister died last week. Someone I didn't like and hadn't spoken to in almost 20 years. It made absolutely zero difference to me. When I found out, I shrugged and went right back to what I was doing. I'm not going to get into what she did to me because it would take too long, but believe me when I say I had my reasons. I went no contact the day I turned 18 and never looked back. I even told my mom to tell her family to keep me out of the obituary. Well, family friends and friends of my mom have been reaching out to offer their sympathy and condolences. The first few times I just said thank you, told them I was fine, and changed the subject. Then I ran into someone at the grocery store who unfortunately knows I'm my mom's kid. She told me she was sorry about my aunt. I said thanks, but I'm fine, we weren't close, and I tried walking away. She followed me while I was walking away and said, I know you guys had a rocky relationship, but you need to put that aside now and grieve and take care of things. She was your aunt and she loved you. Deep down, you know you should do the right thing. I stopped, turned around and said, okay, listen, I didn't even talk to her for almost 20 years, so I really don't care. I don't need condolences, sympathy, or life advice. She wasn't a good person, which is why she was in a nursing home to begin with, and nobody visited her. Because she was a bad person, and no one cares when bad people die. There isn't even going to be a funeral because, again, nobody cares. I walked away but heard her huff something about speaking ill of the dead. When my uncle died, I cared. When my grandma died, I cared. That's when I appreciated people reaching out. This time, I want people to leave me alone. I'm not sad, I'm indifferent. Apparently, Miss Nosy messaged my mom on Facebook and told her I went off on her in the grocery store about how much I hate my aunt. I explained to my mom what actually happened. I also told her that I'm in my 30s and people either need to accept my answer or leave me alone, not go tattling to my mommy. My mom said I should just say thanks and move on with my life. No, I don't want people thinking I liked or cared about her. So, am I the asshole? Comments. Commenter 1. Not the asshole. You tried thanks but I'm fine multiple times. She pushed. The "she was your aunt and she loved you" line from someone who clearly doesn't know the full story is exactly the kind of thing that makes people snap. You didn't go off on her unprovoked. She followed you and gave unsolicited life advice. Also, the whole "don't speak ill of the dead" thing is so tired. Dying doesn't make someone a saint. You're allowed to be honest about who they were. And honestly, a grown woman running to Facebook to tattle to your mom says everything about her. Commenter 2. I swear I hate that line as well. Just because you're dead doesn't excuse the nonsense you did in life. Some people are happier when bad people die. Commenter 3. Yes, when an asshole dies, all you have is a dead asshole. It's not like they magically become a good person that people are going to miss. Personal commentary. This is one of those stories where people confuse politeness with obligation. The OP tried to disengage multiple times, and the moment someone followed them and started preaching, they crossed a line. You don't owe grief, forgiveness, or fake sadness to make other people comfortable, especially over someone who caused real harm.
Story 3. Dad hates my house and apparently expects me to take in my brother's children at some point. I don't even know if this is the right sub for this, but in this moment, as the only blood-related woman on my father's side of the family, it feels gendered. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. A few days ago, my dad came over to my house for the first time in quite a while. Since he last saw it, my husband and I have done a lot of renovations. I have a nervous system condition that's mostly manageable, but during flares, very basic tasks can become extremely difficult. A big part of managing my condition is limiting activities that can cause crashes or flares. My husband is also disabled. He has hypermobile EDS. So together, we made a list of accommodations that would make our home more accessible. Some we DIY'd, others we hired contractors for. The results have honestly been life-changing. I have fewer crashes, more energy, and my husband is absolutely elated by how much more functional he is now. My dad, however, hates it. He thinks the house is too weird. He kept commenting about resale value even though we're not planning to sell. During his visit, it was almost all he talked about. I kept gently redirecting, explaining that this is what works for us, but he seemed unusually worked up. The plan for the visit was simple. He'd meet my foster dog that he might adopt, we'd walk the dogs, then grab lunch. After the walk, I stepped away briefly to use the bathroom. When I came back, I found my dad trying to pull one of our accommodating mechanisms out of the kitchen wall. He didn't break it, but he did scratch the wall badly enough that it now needs repainting. I was shocked and kind of hysterical. I raised my voice and yelled, "What the fuck are you doing, Dad? What's your problem?" He replied that he just wanted to see if it was removable, apologized, and then said it was too weird and not going to work when Billy and Bobby move in with you. Billy and Bobby are my nephews, my brother's kids. I have never invited them to stay with me, let alone move in. I've never been asked. Even if something tragic happened to my brother and sister-in-law, I would be extremely far down a long list of potential caregivers.
So I was completely stunned. I asked him to clarify repeatedly, but he waved it off and told me to forget he said anything. When I pressed further, he just said, "Well, honey, it's a massive house. You have room for 2 boys." I told him very clearly that I had no desire to host them, even temporarily, and he shut down again and repeated, "Forget I ever said anything." He apologized for the wall, transferred more money than necessary to fix it, and then took me to lunch like nothing happened. The rest of the day was normal, but I haven't been able to stop thinking about it since. First, he would never act this aggressively about renovations in my brother's home, ever. It makes me feel like he doesn't respect my home because I'm a woman. But more than that, what the hell was he talking about with my nephews? Is my family planning something behind my back? I've already made it clear that even babysitting them isn't something I'll do anymore, so the idea that anyone would assume I'd take them in is baffling. I'm spiraling and don't know whether to confront my dad again or reach out to my brother. Comments. Commenter 1. Is there something wrong with your brother that he can't raise his own kids? Reply from OP. No, nothing wrong. My brother isn't looking to move his kids out. They're sometimes difficult, a bit delayed, and very entitled, and in the past my family leaned heavily on others for childcare. When I lived with my dad, I was pushed into caring for them far more than I would have agreed to. Once I moved out, I set hard boundaries, and they were mostly respected. Commenter 2. I'd definitely try to get more info from your dad, but failing that, talk to your brother. That's a wild thing to say without serious context. Reply from OP. It's incredibly out of pocket. Beyond not wanting them to live with me, it wouldn't even be safe. I've dealt with a stalker for years who once threatened my nephews. I distanced myself from them and the threats stopped. I'm still pursuing legal action. Even the thought of them in my home makes me worried. Commenter 3. Even in an emergency, it's hard to imagine you'd be the first option. Reply from OP. Exactly. There are dozens of other relatives and family friends. I cannot fathom how this would ever fall on me. Update. I talked to my brother and he was genuinely confused. He had no idea why our dad would imply that his kids would ever move in with me. There's no illness, no divorce, no crisis. He confirmed that I wouldn't even be near the top of the list of caregivers. We're now concerned this may be manipulation rather than cognitive decline. My dad has a long history of fixating on ideas and trying to maneuver people into his preferred outcome. Final update. After many conversations, we finally figured it out. My sister-in-law had been pushing for the kids to spend entire summers and school breaks at my dad's house. My dad agreed, but it nearly broke him. He didn't want to say no again, so his plan was to slowly dump the kids on me instead. He never planned to ask. He planned to manipulate. My sister-in-law knew. She said nothing. She expected it to work. It would not have worked. This entire mess wasted months of emotional energy because my father refused to be honest. Final comments. Commenter 1. Reading this was infuriating. Enjoy having your house to yourself. Reply from OP. We are. Sister-in-law apologized by offering to bring the kids over for a fun day. I told her her actions have made me not want the kids over at all. She's furious. Personal commentary. This story is a masterclass in family entitlement, manipulation, and gendered expectations. The dad didn't see a disabled couple protecting their health. He saw a woman with space he could control. And the moment boundaries existed, the scheming began. The wildest part? Everyone knew it was wrong, and they still tried to make it happen quietly. This is why boundaries aren't rude, they're survival.
Story 4. Came home and SO is gone. I'm a longtime lurker and occasional commenter on this sub, but I'm using a throwaway because my paranoia is at an all-time high right now. I've always thought my OPSEC was solid. Honestly, I didn't even feel like I needed it. My wife works constantly, we've had what I'd describe as a great sex life, and I genuinely believed she had no reason to suspect what I was doing. That's why I'm completely losing my mind right now. Yesterday, I came home from work like usual. Normally, my wife gets home about 30 minutes after I do. When that didn't happen and it started getting late, I called her phone. No answer. I went into our bedroom and realized all her clothes were gone. Not a mess, not a dramatic scene. The house was untouched. She just left. No note, no explanation. I tried calling again, nothing. I emailed, nothing. I even reached out to her friends and none of them responded. That's when the panic really set in. She has to know, right? But if she knew, why wouldn't she confront me? Who finds out and just disappears without saying anything? And then the worst thought hit me. Is it possible she doesn't know and left for someone else? Comments. Commenter 1. Let her go. You're fucked. She'll contact you with instructions. You'll likely be served soon. Commenter 2. She for sure knows. Reply from OP. I know now she knows. She's known for months. She's been more deceitful about knowing than I've been about doing it, and maybe that's why I'm so fucking angry. I can't even have interest in my AP now. Fuck. Update. I actually did have good OPSEC, or so I thought. I finally found out what happened from her mom. One of my wife's interns works a second job at the hotel where my AP and I met, 3 towns away. My wife had a picture of us on her phone screen, so the intern recognized me. After that, she called my wife the next time we were there. My wife stopped by the hotel to confirm it, then left. What's really messing with my head is that this happened back in March. I never noticed a single change in her behavior. Edit. After writing this, I guess my OPSEC wasn't that great after all. I shouldn't have stayed at the same place more than once. I had no idea this post would get so much input, but it's helped more than I expected. This was my first time posting here, and venting like this has helped me process things. Honestly, the attention and engagement probably helped me cope more than I want to admit. Final update. I finally talked to my wife this afternoon. I've been alone in our house since Thursday night, completely clueless about what was happening until her mother, whom my wife barely has contact with, reached out to me. I was caught. I've been caught since March. My wife texted me today and said she originally planned to contact me only through a lawyer and let the divorce papers do the talking. But since her mother reached out, she was willing to answer questions if I wanted to talk. Of course, I did. I asked her why she stayed after finding out and how she could lie to me for months like that. She said it wasn't her intention, but she shut down emotionally so she could figure out what she needed to do for herself and for the relationship. Toward the end of the conversation, she said something that really stuck with me. She said she still loves me, but she doesn't respect me, and she thinks I love her but don't respect her either. Because of that, she thinks we should go our separate ways. She's already arranged a job transfer to the city she's been asking me to move to for years. She offered to sell me her half of the house if I want it, or we can list it and let the lawyers handle everything. I still don't even know if I want the house without her in it. I'm glad we talked, but it hurts how far ahead she already is emotionally. She cried a little, and then just stopped. I asked about therapy, and she said I should have asked for that when I realized I had impulse control issues. I've been drinking for the last 48 hours, so sorry for the rant. I don't think it's losing her that hurts the most, it's losing like this. Final comments. Commenter 1. OP sounds like a cartoon villain. The mental gymnastics it takes to make the victim the problem is honestly impressive. Commenter 2. It's actually pretty easy. He has 2 choices. Option 1 is to accept that he destroyed everything, that it's entirely his fault, that he's a bad person, and that he deserves 0 sympathy, and that everyone will know it. Option 2 is to pretend he's the real victim and deserves sympathy. There's no evidence for option 2, but option 1 is incredibly uncomfortable, and since he's already so used to lying, the only person left he hasn't lied to yet is himself. Commenter 3. Oh, he's lying to himself constantly. This entire post is just one long lie to himself. Personal commentary. This story isn't about betrayal being discovered, it's about betrayal being endured. The wife didn't explode, didn't scream, didn't confront him. She quietly gathered evidence, processed the reality, emotionally detached, and walked away with her dignity intact.
And that's what really broke him. Not losing his wife, losing control of the narrative, losing the chance to argue, to bargain, to rewrite what he did. By the time he caught up, she was already gone. Sometimes the quiet exit hurts loudest. Thanks for staying to the end. If you enjoyed the stories, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more interesting Reddit stories.